Good morning everyone and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and today I'm doing my own little personal haul and my own little thing. So first up, Stamperia. Yes, I went there again. It's a store online called miniatureluxuries.com. I will link it below, and their Stamperia prices I've been checking online. They're quite surprising. Some of their stuff is half the price of anywhere else. Anyway, first thing I bought myself was some Stamperia Ceramica, Palveri Ceramica or ceramic powder. Now, I want to test this to see if it's different to the Perfect Cast that I use. 900 grams, which I think is £2 weight. And it was, I think, $7.50. So twice as much as Perfect Cast in cost, but I want to see what the results are. So I bought it and we'll find out. And it's in a nice tub, which is a good thing because I have to keep my Perfect Cast in a Ziploc because of humidity. So that's the first thing that I bought. Now the instructions on it are European, so it's 800 mils. I think it's telling you, yeah, 800 mils to a kilogram of powder. Now, I don't know if 900 grams is a kilogram, so it might be. I'm going to do it by the tablespoon to tablespoon ratio and see what I discover, but I'll let you know. So that's my first one. And then next, coming from Stamperia, and I showed you last week, I've fallen in love with their molds. So I had to get the art one. And if I lay it down there, you'll probably see more of it. And here you've got Atelier or Atelier, and you've got a paint palette. Isn't that gorgeous? You've got brushes, you've got an ink or paint tube, you've got another paintbrush, little paintbrushes, and then if I spin it that way around, you've got labels and you've got hearts. And as usual, turn it the right way because then you get a better look. But these are just awesome. I can see me doing these in some soft air dry clay and moulding them around my tomato cans. But those hearts are just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And you've even got a wood grain one. So that was my first mould. And these are $7.25 at Miniature Luxuries. And then, because you know me, I had to do it. There they are. Cupcakes. Really looking forward to doing that. And then you've got little tarts with frosting and little sprinkles on top. You've got little sort of like floral shaped biscuits, and then you've got the cookies. Isn't it gorgeous? Chocolates. And what's really nice about these molds is you can use resin in them as well. And then I saw this and I thought, gotta have that. Huge tiles. There are 6 on there, which of course would make coasters. I'm actually going to measure. I haven't washed it out yet because I've used it to show you. And they are 3 inches square, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, each tile is 3 inches square. And so what I did was I played around, and also storing these, I've discovered that if you've got a nice big book ring, you can just hook loads on there, which is where these 3 are now going to go, and you can hang them on a hook on the wall. See, look at that. You can't do that with silicone molds. You have to stack them because if they warp, you can't use them anymore. So excuse me while I just go and hang this up. Now that was nice and easy, just hanging there on hooks alongside my stencils. So anyway, I used the tile one and I was quite naughty. I used my Perfect Cast, which I love, but I added more water because I was thinking that if it was runnier, it would pick up more detail. It certainly did, and I did make them thin, and you can see my table. Well, I actually did it on my chopping board in the kitchen, and it was on a skew. So I noticed that afterwards. But this one is another new thing that I got, and that is the salvage patina. And I just got the distress ink and the oxide. I usually do it like that, and then if I like the colour, then you know, as coupons come along, I'll buy the paint and whatnot. But look at that, isn't that lovely? And I also use some hickory smoke distress ink spray, and I also use this stuff which I'm keeping on my desk, which is the gilding polish, because I've had it for years and I just don't use it, so it's right in front of me now, so that I do. I've got no choice in the matter. But that is the distress patina with a little bit of hickory smoke and some of that gilt polish on top. But I haven't finished playing with that because I get a nail file and I just scratch most of that gilt back off again. So those are the tile molds, and as you can see, they are going to make a really, really pretty coaster. And if you get some Portland cement and you make it quite thin, and then it's going to take maybe 24 hours to set on you, you've got something you can use in the garden. So then you can go along and you can make a thicker mix, and you can start putting them together, and you can make little tile pots for little succulents, you know, hens and chickens, those types of plants. So really, really love those, and those were my molds. So that was my Stamperia doodah, and then I will go into my little bits. So for my little bits, I've got these which I absolutely love. I think there's 100 in here for a couple of bucks, and I'm going to get one out just to show you why I love them. When you make something and you want to hang it up, there it is. It's a tiny little transparent bale, just a little drop of UV resin, and set it under your lamp or torch, and then you can hang it up. So you can make yourself all sorts of little decorations or pieces of jewellery, and you've got a virtually invisible bale there. And I think it took about a month for these to arrive, but I'm glad they're here because I'm going to start using them. And then those pretty little summer roses. Now I think these are the 4mm resin roses, and I hope they're showing true to colour. There you go. And I want them as well to put on those little frames that I showed you that I made, those little kitsch ones. So I'm going to order some more of those because I know that I like them now and I'm going to use them. Right, next up, my stamps. Just reaching over the desk, and I have stamped them all out. Now this set, I absolutely love it, but what they've done is they've created a stamp and directly interpreted the image. So it's a whole stamp with Home Sweet Home in it. I would rather have it so that I've got a frame, and then if I want to stamp that, I can stamp it. So you can see on this one, I went in with my scissors and I cut the hanger out. So I've still got a frame, but now I've got a hanger that I can use on all of them. And the other bits I intend to just use my scissors and chop those out as well. So I'm just going to find the image that I stamped for that one in my little pile here. Here it is, and you can see what I mean. There it is, the little hanger that I cut out of the middle of here. So I can now make it look like it's hanging, so that I can stamp or just put little die cut critters and stuff there. But you can see that it stamps absolutely perfectly. This is using VersaFine Clair. So that one is a good one. And then next up in my stack is even more frames, because I do love frames. I just think they're really useful. So I've got two pieces here. Right, so there's this one, and exactly the same again. The sentiment is actually fixed into the frame, and I may actually leave those ones like that and then just cut these ones out, if you know what I mean. So this is how they stamped. Do a close-up. I love the sort of like hand-drawn scribble, and that set also comes with a long sentiment. The greatest moments in life are the most simplest. So really love that. But as you can see, they are great. Right, my next stamp is my little snowmen on toboggan. There they are. Whee! Pushing off down the hill. It's supposed to go like that, I think, the direction on your card. Or I suppose you could do that. But then he wouldn't really have his arms in the air as he was falling backwards, bless him. Yeah, merry old snowman. And I have stamped it. I'm trying to find it. There it is. And I added just a little bit of soft colour. But if you position it like that, you can see, hey, off down the hill they go. And it's really, really cute. And if you want to know how big that is as a stamp, sort of like it's shading, it's almost 4 inches to this point here. But I just thought that was so sweet. Next up is a little set of stamps. And actually, one of the reasons that I got this is because I don't have enough small stamps. I know that some of the design teams I'm on, they create things that have got really small windows on them. And I look at them and I think, well, I'm not making that because I've got no stamps that are going to fit it. So I thought I'd get myself some small stamps. So I got myself some kind of like vintagey style florals and leaves, which are great for all year round, obviously, depending on what colours you use. And if you've got any little postage stamp dies, these are going to be perfect for that. So that's another reason that I got it. And I stamped it and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's perfect. There it is. Do close up again. I just used a bit of Touch 5 marker to just, you know, add a little bit of interest to everything. Those are tiny, tiny little butterflies just flying up. But if you're into inches and stuff like that, these are going to fit on there. And I'll measure one. So if I do it from its blobby bits, it's 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. And they're all sort of like roughly the same size. I think that one's a bit bigger. And that one is an inch. So if you like doing inches, you know, there's another one. But really, it's for like little windows on dies and stuff like that, and for doing little postage stamps. And of course, you can stamp and do whatever colour you like, but it works, and that's what I want to show you. Next up, borders, and I do like wacky borders because you can put them on tags. You can literally dress anything up with a little border. So I got that set there, and I can tell you that the longest one, which I think is the leaf, the double leaf there, I'm going to say 4.5 inches, and this is what I did. I part coloured some of them so that you can just see what they look like, and then I coloured the green one in. But you can see the stamping is gorgeous. It works. So that is my border stamp that I got. Next up is my mushrooms, and I do have a thing for mushrooms. I think I showed you my little mushroom jar the other week. I just think they're lovely, and that is 4.5 inches, the tallest one. So that would look great on a slimline. And I just grabbed a load, as I say, of Touch 5 markers and just did whatever colours I wanted to. And there you can see a close-up of how it stamps. It's very true to the image on the package. And of course I used some white paint pen just to do a few dots because I was just playing around. So that's what I did. And then you've got the vintage style and a little bit wonky lettering. And I think that's there because it's like no one is too old for fairy tales. So that's the other stamp set that I treated myself to. And then last but not least, and my husband insists that I tattoo this on his arm, and it's a raven. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I actually have a plastic raven in the garden, and even though it's a raven, I call it Poe the Crow, and it sits on top of one of my hanging basket poles. So it's got like a hole in the base of it, and it just sits there. And people go by, and I swear they think it's real, but I call it Poe the Crow. And it stood up really well to the weather, and I think that came off AliExpress, and it's just black molded plastic, but I just love it. So anyway, there we have Poe himself, Nevermore. And once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary. And of course it is, quoth the raven, nevermore. So perfect for Halloween or anything gothic. And it's stamped absolutely brilliantly. There you go. Requiring no colour at all. And then you've got that vintage typeset below. And as the stamp, you know, it's bold and it's thin and it's worn. So that's not error. It's supposed to look like that. Like it went through a vintage typewriter. And that little bit of the Nevermore is also supposed to be missing. But I just think that's gorgeous. So that might be a tattoo in the future as well. Right, so that is my stamp collection. And now we're getting into the dies, which is always exciting. And I have only cut a couple of these out. So first of all, I will show you this one. Really, really cute. Just 3 little borders. You've got swirly hearts. You've got hearts in a bit of lace. And then you've got a little hollowed out heart strip, which I thought was really cute. I just love stuff like this to have to put on tags as extras. And those are 4.5 inches long. And then my next one is absolutely gorgeous. And it's an alphabet set. And it's in wood grain. And it's massive. And I think it was about $3 or $4. And that is 1.5 inches high, each letter. And you can just see that throughout the year with spring flowers, in the fall, cut in sort of like brown to bring out that wood grain effect. And I did trim off the A, and I cut the A out so that you can, whoop, let's get a good picture. That going to do it? Lots of glare here. There you go. Oh, and I lost it again. Never mind. It works. There. Take out the light. So that is the A. So really, really pleased with that one. Next up, I've got myself a sort of like Gothic church window, which can also be nice just for doing garden scenes. Now, I'm not showing you this because it's just not available anymore. And it's huge. If I ever find it again, I will link it. And I did die cut it, and it was a really easy one to cut out. But I can just see it with sort of like flowers and a window box thing, or Christmas, trying to make it like stained glass or something like that. So that's the other one that I got for myself. The next one I got for myself is all cropped up into a bag of bits because I wanted to test it out to make sure it worked, and it did. And it's a huge rose. Look at that. It's huge. So I layered all that up, and I'm very pleased with that. And when that is fully made, going across is, ooh, let me see. Go from that one to that one. It's a fraction over 2.5 inches wide. So really pleased with that one. And then I get myself a scrolly, rolly up in the middle rose, or it can be anything that you want by arranging the petals. And you get 2 really, really nice leaves with it as well. And the width of the biggest flower below is 1.75 inches. And then I got myself another flower which is layering up, and it can be a chrysanthemum or a daisy. And then you get the piece in the middle. And going across there, I'm going to say that one is 2 inches. And then I got myself some autumn leaves. I have loads and loads of autumn leaves, but you can never have enough because you never know what size you need. And they've got lovely detail on them. And the biggest one is the maple leaf, and I'm going to say that is 1.5 inches high. So really pretty. I like to leave things like this connected and just keep running it through on white cardstock, and then just get your spray inks out and squirt them all in your autumn colours and use them that way. Next up is a little typewriter, and I do like little typewriters, but I also love this little sentiment here, sweet, and it's got a little heart, and that can go onto the piece of paper that's supposed to come up through your typewriter. But of course, I'll use it on candies and dessert dies as well. And you've also got your keyboards. And the height of that when made up is 2 3/4 inches. And then the width, I'm going to say, I can just about see under there, 2 inches. So I think that's really cute. Really pleased with that. Things like that are great on memory decks and tags. Butterfly, huge. Yes, massive. That is, let's have a look, just under 5.5 inches across. So that is perfect to sit onto a slim line, or that's 3.25 inches deep, or for doing projects with, you know, sort of like dangly things for the garden and stuff like that. If you like cutting out metal, a lot of people do save soda cans, and you can cut that in soda cans and spray it up, put it on some fishing wire, and just have it swinging around in a tree in the garden. I absolutely love it. It's massive. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I do know that I'm going to be using it. That was the reason for buying it. Next up is another flower, and this is a layering one, and I didn't do this one yet, and I think it's a cosmos flower. So it's kind of like got the serrated edges, and it's a bit daisy like, and it's got all the stems, and it's got all of those leaves. But the size of the flower, the base of it, if I look at it here, 2.25 inches. So it's a really good size. Right, that is my little haul and my goodies that I've shared with you today. And there's my little tile again. And you have an absolutely awesome day. All things that I've got here I will link below, and of course I will link this website. Now, my distress oxide inks, I always get them from a store called Marco Papers, because it's really good service and great delivery, and I can also link their store below if you like that colour. Right, once again, have an absolutely fabulous day. As usual, all links below, and I will be up tomorrow with some MX art. Bye.